Over the next year or so, more than 1,000 young people will be part of gun violence, or actually will be shot or perhaps killed by gun violence. Here in New York, about a year ago, a few members from the New York State Senate, in particular Council of Black Senators, along with our Assembly member counterparts, were discussing an issue that resulted from a rash of gun shootings from Queens to Erie County, Niagara. A result of those shootings has put together a program called Operation Snug. Operation Snug is gun spelled backwards. It's a program that is modeled by Ceasefire Chicago. It's a successful program. The Justice Department has done a study and it's proven that violent gun activity has decreased anywhere from 16 to 35% as a result of this program. Today, you will hear from Snug directors, you'll hear from victims of gun violence, you'll hear from the leadership of this state, who will be a part of a statewide rally that will be held on the 27th of this month, starting at the UN Plaza. We firmly believe guns is an international problem. Starting at the UN on 1st Avenue and 42nd in New York City, marching to the center of the universe, as we call Times Square.
Tells me that hope was restored, especially for those who have the capability to dare to dream that they can be something other than that street thug on the corner. We got this thing, the sagging pants. As you pull your pants up, we're quite sure that your image is going to raise up also. Peace up! Peace up!
I'm coming to you today as a mom, a mother, whose son was on the brink of success. This is his picture, Kedrick Ali Morrow Jr. 1 month away from graduating high school. He had an academic scholarship to St. John's University, and he was gunned down 1 month before his graduation. My husband attended his graduation and he was not there. So I want you to take a look at what's going on in our community today. It is no longer just drug dealers, gang bangers, dropouts. This was a successful child and was gunned down. I urge everyone to get involved. I support Operation Snug. I urge everyone in the community, in everywhere from Chicago, California. This is an epidemic. Look around. How many of you will be here next year? How many more parents have to plan a funeral when they should be planning a graduation? I did everything I was supposed to do as a parent. But because someone else failed to do theirs, my son is no longer here today. We are dropping the ball. This is a problem. Look at my son, and he's 6 feet under, doing the right thing. It is time for us to wake up. We are losing this battle. So we have to come together no matter what race, religion, what creed, what background. We have to stop this nonsense. Let it rise up there, the people who are striving to do the right thing. And from today on, let's move forward. I support Operation Snug. Guns down, peace up.
The men, it's our fault. We have to take responsibility as men to raise our children, our boys. That's who's shooting, killing, and get involved in gangs and drugs. Boys, teenagers. And we have to be men. And we have dropped the ball. It's time to pick the ball up now. It's time for us to be men. It's time for us to be men, be home to raise our children to become men. It's time for us to grow up and be a man so that we won't have senseless killing anymore. It's time for us to think of programs that could help us parent our children to become men. Take them off the street, get them off the TV, put them in something that can be conducive and constructive. There are no men no more. There are no more men. Long time ago, there were a lot of men in the early 50s and 60s and 70s. This is 2011, and there's no more men. And whatever is left of us, we need to man up. Peace up, guns down. Takbir!
Proud to stand with elected officials, leaders of the Black and Puerto Rican caucus, both the Black Council in the Senate and the counterpart in the Assembly, with labor leaders as George Gresham, with our esteemed Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, and clergy and others, as we launch another level of fighting gun violence with Senator Smith and the Snug campaign, and prepare for a march on next week from the UN to Times Square. As he stated, this is a national problem. Many times we have come on caucus weekend and talked about people that would shoot us. I remember coming to caucus weekend about police cases, about cases of racial violence. But we cannot ignore the violence that is being done one to another. We cannot fight for the right for our children to be hoodlums and thugs and feel that we fought to open doors that they were not prepared to walk in. So this is a situation where we must put our own communities in check, as well as those that inundate our communities with guns and with instruments of death. We also must counter this culture that tells our people that gangsterism and thuggism is somehow related to black culture in Black History Month. Black history has never been about how low we could go. It's been about no matter how far down we were, we got up anyway. And we must continue that and teach that, which is why it is appropriate in the last Sunday of Black History Month, we have this march. I have in our Atlanta National Action Network office, some young people I met with 2 weeks ago said to me, yeah, but we can't turn into guns. I've done gun buyback programs in New York and Indiana and other places. Said we can't snitch, we can't talk to the man. And I told him, have you looked at the Attorney General lately? We are the man now. And we've got to stop acting like we're outside and we're inside, and go from outsiders to inside, governing our community and being instructive. So I'm glad to be part of this coalition. I'm glad to be part of this move. And just as we fought those that would abuse us from the outside, we must fight self-hate and self-abuse in the inside, in Albany and Buffalo and Syracuse and New York City, all over the state, and unfortunately even in suburban and small towns. People feel like that this is what is the appropriate thing to do. When I see young people in my community no longer wearing Malcolm X t-shirts but wearing Scarface t-shirts, it's time for Snug, and we're going to be involved.
All right. I couldn't achieve. Somebody said that me I wouldn't, I could not, should not. Don't even bother to reach for the prize. Even though the rain may fall, doesn't mean I can't stay tall. Cause I walk with the sun inside of my love, my strength, my faith, my pride. And even though it's hard for me, I'm gonna give up now. I'm gonna hold my head high. Cause, yeah, just look right to now. Oh, waiting to have it up, yeah. You know when it's right, you know when it's right. Be strong and love.
There was a time when I would break down and cry, but I knew you gave me strength to get through. Change my mind and I'm somewhere new. I just wanna say thank you. You. And even though it's hard for me, I ain't gonna give up now. I'm gonna hold my head high. Yeah. A look inside. Oh, reach up. It means you had enough. Yeah. You know when it's right. You know when it's right. Be strong. Keep your head. to improve the power of me, son. I dance like no one's watching, and even though I can't sing, I keep the words chanting. Is the best for this, perfect the process, settle best for this. Reach you know it's right, you know when it's right. Be strong, strong in love. Keep your head. It's hard knowing now. Look inside, do it now. Reach out. Eat the face. Yeah. You know when it's right, you know when it's right. Be strong in love. Keep your head reaching up. If I know now. Just be strong, strong in love. Everybody sing. Just be strong. You know when it's right, you know when it's right. Be strong, strong in love. Keep your head reaching up.
Michael Mogul. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Thank you everyone for coming out here this afternoon. This is our responsibility. We talk about gun violence, we hear about it for years and years. It has now become our responsibility. And what Senator Smith is doing here, taking the lead, I can't thank him enough. Thank you so much, Senator Smith.
Springfield and Linden. He was a freshman. School had just started. He had only been attending the Humanities of the Arts School for 3 weeks. He got killed because of gangs, fighting, and instead of just fighting, they resulted in gunplay. And he got hit by a stray bullet, minding his business, nowhere near where the fight happened, just minding his business, and got hit in the back of the head with a bullet. 13 years old, his life is over, and now I'm trying to take that negative that happened into something positive. I've recently started a foundation in his memory. I have recently started a foundation in his memory, and it's called the KLM Junior Foundation. We were fortunate enough to give out scholarships, and we're going to continue to do something so this doesn't happen to another family like it has definitely. It hurt me so much. It has hurt my family. My life will never be the same. And I'm doing this because I still have a child that I have to raise, and I'm afraid to cut the strings like I did for Kevin by letting him come home on his own. He never traveled on his own. I always made sure I took him to school. I picked him up from school when he was in elementary, and 3 weeks of being on his own coming home, this is what happens. So I'm afraid for other kids. I'm afraid for my own. And as a result of Snug, it's gonna help. I think it's gonna help. And we need everyone's support to make sure that it could be your child today or tomorrow. It could be a person that you know. It could be anybody. We cannot just say that we want to help. We gotta really be about it because it's hurting everybody. We're failing our communities. We need to step up and do what we need to do to discipline our kids so they don't result in going to get guns instead of just fighting it out. So again, continue to support the Snug operation. And again, thanks for allowing me to speak.